Hello everybody and welcome back to IRL Season 13 F1. Today is round 7 here in Monza, Italy. I haven't been here since round 4, so I've been a little bit out of the loop with what's going on because I'm been a mildly busy man. Also, cannot hear the game. Okay, there you go, it's actually here. Just very quiet. But anyway, Monza. A track with 11 corners. So not many at all, with only 4 to the left and 7 to the right, so a dominantly right-handed corner track. But just because there's only 11 corners does not mean there's no overtaking opportunities, because pretty much every single corner on this track there is a chance for somebody to overtake. It's ridiculous, because of course it's the fastest track on the calendar. It's the straightest pretty much as well, if I'm not being stupid, but as you can see just from looking at the track map, it is all straights and chicanes bar a couple. So expect a lot of slipstream, a lot of DRS, and plenty of dive bombs coming into a certain few corners today, okay? It's going to be chaos, I reckon, and turn 1 is going to be something to behold, 100%, so we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. And from what I know about setups on this track, 0-0 wings is the way to go, so some slippery rear ends and a bit of understeer I can imagine is going to be common, so don't write out a few spins and maybe a few little mistakes coming into the Lesmos, because that can cause you a lot of problems. But if we got on board with our Nino Romanello here, the man from Italy, the man from Wales, he's had himself a mediocre season. I think our Nino can do better, but a few races not started and a few little things going on here and there. I mean, he did get a podium last race from what I can see in USA, so Nino could be on form, and depending on how he does around here, you know, one of his home tracks, or his home track in fact, I don't see why he can't do too badly. Unfortunately, China is not on the calendar for him, because China is his one singular track that he's truly great at. But I don't see, I wouldn't write off Nino just yet. I mean, he's sitting in 10th right now as a reserve on 26 points. Not bad from the boy, sitting 19.9 on his first lap, with Lewis just behind him. Chappie Fulmer, I cannot remember the name of, if I'm truly honest. So I'm going to have to figure that out. There's a couple of people I don't think I know the name of. One of them being, where'd he go? Blue Thunder, who is literally just at the fastest lap, only just though. I'm not sure what their name is, so let me look. I'm sorry, this is going to be annoying when I do this. Never mind, I'll just call him Blue. But anyway, we're going to concentrate now on a couple of our championship fights. Okay, so Edward Hart currently sitting 14 points clear of Brandon Glover at the top of the drivers' standings. Edward surpassing 100 points last week with 102. Brandon sitting at 88. Brandon was in the fight last year, unfortunately coming runner-up, as the man sits at 19.6 to become the fastest man on the track so far. On board with Ross Dunn as he sets a 110 through Sector 2, but okay, yeah, it looks like he might have had a mistake or something on his lap. Sorry. What's my phone doing? So, Edward leading, Brandon in second. We've got Jared in third at 61 points. He's pretty much out of the fight right now, but doing alright there for Red Bull, who are still clinging to the championship fight in the Constructors, because if we look at that, we've got Aston Martin on top with the Brandon Glover and the Kevin Harrison pairing, doing quite well for themselves. Kevin always seems to be consistent enough to get himself to the top of the Constructors standings. That's something very strong, as Major, don't know Major's name either. Oh dear, I'm sorry. As they spin around and have a mistake through parabolic, that's very unfortunate for them. Never mind. But Aston Martin 129 points. Mercedes only 3 points behind with 126. Alfie Ollie, our championship winner last season, hasn't been having the greatest season of his life this time round. He's mostly either not started or finished right at the back of the points, and we haven't got him here again today, as far as I can see. And Edward Hart, I also cannot see. So it looks like today, Aston Martin, if they can put in a good shift, they can clear themselves up the top of the standings. And Brandon, if he keeps up his pace, he can get himself a nice win and send himself higher up the standings, as Ross Denham is doing donuts in the middle of the track, which is lovely to see. As Jared Fosbury, he's about to start a lap. We're going to go with him for this one. Jared kind of carrying Red Bull's hopes right now. His teammate is Cameron Young. Cameron Young as well, not having the best season of his life. We know he's quick, but he is sitting 5th in the standings. 1 place, well, 2 places behind his teammate. So 5th isn't bad, 48 points. But we normally expect Cameron to be right up there, fighting for the championship. But unfortunately, this season just hasn't quite been his, and hasn't been able to really fight for the top few positions. I remember in France, he had a fantastic race, absolutely dominated. He commanded it until one singular spin sent him right to the back of the grid. Well, not quite right to the back, but hurt his chances for sure as Ross Denham retires from the session, which is absolutely no surprise. You've seen him spinning constantly, so expect him to start at the back. But Jared coming into a scary, a tricky corner, or set of corners to get right, but it looks like he does that quite softly there. Not bad from him. Where can Jared put himself? Can he give Red Bull more of an advantage? Him and Cameron have got to work together if they want to salvage any hope of this Constructors title, because they're not far off at all. We know that. But we're just going to have to wait and see what they can both do, as Jared sets us 20.4 to go 5th position. Decent enough from him, but nothing too shocking or groundbreaking. But what can you do? 10 minutes left to go in qualifying. All the times you see now aren't going to be revolutionary times. As Cameron, speaking of the man, sets a 19.4 to put himself at the top. So maybe this could be his track. Maybe this could be his race for himself, get back on form. Only a few races left to go, so I don't know if he can mount a comeback on the title, but you never know in racing, of course. You never know. But Cameron's still yet to win a race. He was one of my early predictions to do well this season. Hasn't quite come for him. But again, things can still change. He can still win and get Red Bull back in the Constructors. That's the main thing we'll be looking at, because it's very, very close. Jared still being solid, an underdog, an unexpected surprise this season to get himself so far up the championship and doing really quite well for himself. You know, he's been right up there with the big boys this game, which none of us really expected. Kevin's still yet to set a lap. Of course, he is famous for his odd strategies and his interesting racecraft, but that always seems to work. So I won't write off Kevin either, because he could put off a surprise. Sometimes it doesn't always work well for him. Maybe it's not always perfect, but when it does go right, it goes right for Kevin. And maybe again, not having the best season of his life. His best result in recent races, I believe, was 7th after a decently strong start, but things gone wrong for him. Incidents here and there just haven't quite worked out for him in the end. So, oh, Alfioli is here. How'd I miss him? Okay, whatever. But Alfioli here to salvage the Mercedes team and their hopes just a little bit, depending on what he can do. So currently in P7 under 20.2. He'll want to do better, I'm sure. But we'll just have to wait and see again. Yellow flag sector 3 is just Ferrari going slowly for whatever reason, so nothing too relevant or interesting. Blue Thunder, a driver I'm unfamiliar with. Not sure what their name is or what their story is, but currently sit P6 and 19.9, a sub 20, which is pretty decent. I do have to put my controller on charge, as you can see a massive black box has appeared on the screen, which is not something I like to see. It's a new driver for me to experience, to see. I'm not sure what they're going to be able to do, but P6, not bad. Sub 20 is what we're looking at. Maybe somebody can break a sub 18. Sub 18? Sub 19? Maybe our Cameron Young up the top there. 7 minutes left to go. Still waiting on our true fastest laps. Let's see what Blue Thunder can do here. That would be a second lap, I do believe. But again, Trappy ahead of him. I'm not sure what their name is either, which is annoying. There's two I don't know. So I hope they don't get in too many fights, so they just crash early, so I can not mention them at all. Anyway, running up to the line, holding them right to the left. What can they do as they open their DRS? Come across the line to change nothing. Still look like they're going flat out though, so this might be their lap. So they got ABS on as well. As you can see, as they go full on the brakes, coming into the corner. No traction control though, it seems, which is nice to see. Jared Cohen's sitting down in P9. He's going to want to improve a little bit, but this lap won't be his lap, considering he's on almost 2 minutes. So he's going to put into the pits. No, looks like he's going again. Running up to the DRS, opening that. Across the line with a thrilling 2-minute lap. So Jared, he's going to go for an... Oh. Okay, it looks like the outlap thing has been a bit weird. I don't know. My mind's not working. It's clear to see Paco sitting up in P8. An interesting man. I say it every week. I'm not sure where he is in the standings. I only have to check that. Like I said, I've missed a few weeks, so I don't really know what's going on. And I can't read, but Paco is sitting in P11 just behind Nino, 24 points. So Paco's DNF'd in 3 races so far, in the last 2 including. So Paco isn't unfamiliar to our time in previous seasons, and in this one as well, clearly. Jared going very slowly for whatever reason in 6th gear. Maybe giving a toe to his teammate there is... That'll be Cameron closing in on him. Cameron on a 19.4. No toe. He wasn't going quick enough really. Anyway, Cameron looks like he's flying. Cutting the corner though, unfortunately. That won't be his lap, but it looks like he's gone quickly today. As long as he can keep on the track, keep it straight, then I think he's all good. Also after this qualifying session, I'm going to get a drink because I'm not feeling good, it's clear. I'm feeling a bit stuffy. I'm not doing fantastic. Well, what can you do? I just got to share the link to the stream with somebody real quick. And then we can get into the final few minutes of qualifying, which will be very fun and very exciting. I'm also going to have to be quick with getting my drink because I'm not sure if there's any formation lap. So I might actually run and do that now, so I can be ready for the race. Okay, you're going to have to forgive me. I apologise. One sec. Okay, I'm back and I'm hoping that Ribena is going to be my miracle cure because, as you can probably hear, I'm suffering and dying. That's fine. Okay, last 3 minutes of quality, so we're going to see some outlaps coming up very, very shortly. We've got Paco and Alfioli both out on an outlap themselves, maybe giving some toe to their teammates if they're so lucky. You have to see Paco currently only a few tenths or so, about 5 tenths, 4 tenths away from his teammate in 5th, so the margins aren't large in this track. As you can see, from 2nd to 4th, there's only about 500ths of a second, 600ths of a second between them, so it's very close for sure, and I imagine it's only going to get closer as mostly top speed on this track, so that means setup is very important too. It just depends on what everybody can get, as Paco reaching over 300 kilometers an hour, really revving out 8th gear, which is almost impossible to do, I find, unless, of course, you've got 0-0 wings, which I imagine most people have got on this track. More out laps coming, a few people still sitting in the pits waiting for the very end. Yellow flag in sector 1, there's people letting each other through. Lots of courtesy on the track. Paco coming into the second chicane of the track, taking that nicely. Good lines running down the curb. And oh, spin crash! There goes Paco, knocking off his wing. Lucky not to get his wheels knocked off too. So that will be the end of his qualifying. Maybe anticipating something to come in the race too. Unfortunately for him, Alfie Ollie though locking up coming into the first chicane. Up third and fourth gear coming through that as well. Okay, it looks like he's already abandoned this lap. And we're going around again. Paco having a little rally stage for himself. Jared following behind this Aston Martin ahead of him. Not sure if that's Kevin or Brandon. It looks like it may well be Kevin. Interesting, very close together. So Jared's going to take a lot of the slipstream off Kevin, which won't help his case in dirty air, but of course it'll help him a lot down the straights, which is the most important part of this track. But Kevin, I'm not sure how he enjoyed the pressure of Jared right behind him and how he's given a rival the advantage. But Kevin reaching almost 350 kilometers an hour, which is a ridiculous amount of speed, breaking into the corner, locking up slightly, running over the curb, first, second gear on the exit. Looks nice from Kevin. He's going to want to improve on this time a lot more. Currently sitting in B11, but of course the new qualifying rules rolling out any chance of a different kind of strategy by qualifying in P11, so it's all to play for. Currently sitting on 21.1, quite far away from the top end of this grid. Doesn't mean that can't change. Lordy's the only one in the pits. He's not going to be setting another lap time. Yellow flag is sector 2, so I can't see how long is actually left. We're going to have to see what times other people set. You can see Brandon Glover is just come down the second final straight, running up to Parabolica now. We'll see what he can do, but Jared just keeps getting so much tow from Kevin there, coming up into Scary. So I imagine Jared's got a good lap on him, provided Kevin sets a good one too. You can see he's right behind him. He can't make a move into the corner, of course, so he might have to hinder his own lap as he comes up to him. 19.3 coming from Brandon, only a tenth quicker than Cameron Young. What can Cameron Young set? But Jared and Kevin both going to be crossing the line in just a moment. We've got Cameron behind them as well, so we're going to have to jump over to him in a minute as Kevin crosses the line to not beat his time. Jared, however, is about to not set a better time. Unfortunate for him, but we're going to go back to Cameron as he spins out Parabolica. Another mistake from him. Nino crossing the line in third for now. We've still got Lewis though, a quick driver on 3,000. Oh my god, quicker than his previous time. He's got a bit of tow from the car ahead. It looks like it's another Ferrari, in fact. So is his teammate, being Sondre Sorhaug, Bottlehaug himself. Unfortunately, has had an awful season so far, spinning in pretty much every race. That's something you come to expect with a name like Bottlehaug. But Lewis, another contender, hasn't had the best season of his life either with that Ferrari special livery. It looks lovely. I do like the yellow and the red, if I'm truly honest. Plus the black, it's just, classic. Anyway, Lewis coming around the final corner. How much can he improve? Can he get close to the top end? Doesn't look like it, as he goes very, very slowly towards the line. The last one I can see here is Paco, who's invalidated as well. So, I believe that is everybody other than Thomas who has spun. So nothing interesting to see here, and this is the end of qualifying with Brandon coming out on top once again to try and extend his lead of the championship due to Edward Hart's absence, which is going to do him absolutely no favours coming into the final stage this season. So Brandon's looking to capitalise as much as he can, but Cameron Young is hot on his heels, stepping on his toes to try and gain an advantage for his team. Jared down in P9, not doing the best shift for the constructors fight, but that doesn't mean everything could change in the race. Points are won in the race, of course, other than I believe 2 points are awarded for pole position in this league, if I'm not mistaken. So Brandon getting his, actually is 2 points awarded for pole position anymore. I can't remember, but anyway, that's irrelevant because of course most of the points are awarded in the races. As you can see, Brandon second pole position, 1/10 quicker than the Welshman behind him, Cameron Young, in second. Not bad from him, so maybe these two could fight for the race win. But Nino in his home track in P3, not bad from him. Hopefully looking for his best results so far this season. Lewis Curtis in fourth place, who seems to be in a new esports team, which is lovely to see. Well done, Lewis. Traffic Formula, don't know his name, in P5, and another man, an Irish man, in P6. Also unfamiliar with his name, Blue Thunder. Alfiel in P7, doing okay for himself, but not getting the best haul of points if he finishes here in the race for Mercedes in their Constructors 5, Paco in 8th, Jared in 9th, and Major, I also can't remember their name, in 10th. The rest of the grid I'll have to see on the race start. Now, I'm not sure if Formation Lap is actually on or not anymore, because this game is broken and glitched, and we can't really do much about it, so we might have to go straight into this. We have to be on our toes and be ready to start screaming coming into the absolutely hectic, chaotic first corner that Italy is almost famous for in league racing, because expect a few wings to come flying off, maybe when people crashing on the straight. We've seen it before. It's not an uncommon thing to happen, so God help us all. We'll just have to wait and see. So I know Jessica Harrison, the Alfa Romeo driver, isn't here today. Did do that once, I believe, in one of her first league races, but Alfa Romeo team currently sitting in the back with only 1 point, as Matt Romano and Jessica Harrison, both not famous for being quick, but Jessica just hasn't really been turning up, and Matt Romano likes to sit at the back and just kind of chill. He has fun with this league racing. He's not a very competitive man, but I believe every point he gets means money is donated to charity, which is love to see. So it's all for a good cause, is Matt Romano. We'd love to see it. Only 5 seconds left to go though until this race may be about to begin. I am waiting to see though, because I'm not actually sure. Yep, here we go. The 5 red lights are on. And they're gone, and we are racing. Brandon Glover looks like he's getting off to an alright start. Of course, Cameron is going to be on his inside coming into this last corner. Nino trying to work himself into the middle. Can't really seem to do it with the Ferrari on the home track. It looks like Cameron Young has actually got the better start today. He's on the inside into the first corner. A little bit of wheel bang there. A little bit of contact. But now Brandon's just dropping as Lewis Curtis seems to get a really good start and a good exit coming into turn 3. He's going to be on the inside. Can he make any moves? No, it looks like Brandon is just a little bit quicker right now. Nino dropping down into 4th. Blue Thunder up into 5th. Nice from him. Major getting a good start as well. Cameron doesn't look like he's really on the defensive here. Brandon having to go to the inside to stop Lewis from getting past him. He does that successfully, only dropping 1 position so far though, which isn't great for him and his hopes for this race win. Looks like Neon's trying to make a move on Lewis as Alfioli in P8 right now, trying to find any move he can. Lordy up down is his 10th. There's a crash. Oh my god! Cameron! How's he hit the wall? I completely missed that. That's really unfortunate. Oh no! Cameron off into the wall. Yellow flag sector 1, 2 and 3. Looks like that is a virtual safety car already on this first lap as I move off the front runners for just a second. Cameron Young into the wall through, I believe that was the first Lesmo, on the exit of the second Lesmo actually, hitting the wall. Not a clue what happened, if it was contact or just a spin, but I was saying he might be able to get his best result so far this season and finally take home a race win, see what he can do for Red Bull. Into the wall he goes, and Jared is their only hope. Down in P9 there's a drive. Oh, speaking of the boys, just got a drive to penalty, speeding over safety car. Except here comes Zeno on the grass, trying to go up the inside of the Ferrari into the first corner. A little bit of wheel bang, not much room on the second section. Oh my god, look at that Blue Thunder! As Zeno goes, oh my, into the gravel and loses positions as Blue Thunder and Major both go up into P2 and P3. So it's a great day for the Williams team. Doing so well for themselves as Jared leaves the session. And Brandon sits back up at the top over a second away from anybody else. Nino trying to make a move. There's not much space in the first chicane. And unfortunately loses out on a couple of positions. A 10-second time penalty for Paco for corner cutting. Not sure what he's done there. A yellow flag down the back as well. Looks like it might be Alfioli into the wall. Crashing on purpose it seems like. Which is very sad to see. Okay, so we've already got 3 retirements. Paco as well retiring, which is quite surprising. I'm not sure what happened to him. Another yellow, another virtual safety car, 2 laps in, so carnage all around, straight away, not giving me time to think. Kevin is up into P7. As you can see, that position is overtaken on the virtual safety car. Back down into P8 he goes. Kevin only making up a couple of positions, but it doesn't seem like much has changed. Position changes though, we look at Blue Thunder and ERS Major up 4 and 7 positions between them. Luke up 6. Kevin up 4 and Hamrick up 8, so a few people making the most of every little mistake that drivers ahead of them are making. I mean, it's been carnage already. Looks like Alfioli might have retired on purpose, so Sondre as well retires. Is that on track or is it? I'm not sure why he's retired there, but Already we have 4 cars out of this race, and Brandon is already at 1.5 seconds away from P2, so he could be running away with this one and helping Aston Martin well on their way to secure his Constructors' Championship, considering Alfie is now out of this race and Edward Hart isn't even here. It's also the longest virtual safety car in my life, so I feel like it might be a full safety car if I'm truly honest. No, okay, we're racing again because that was just long, as Nino gets another drive through as well. Jared had the same, he's way down the back. Nino is going to be dropping out of P5, very sad for him. Brandon has lost a lot on that virtual safety car restart. We've got Lewis, seems to be the closest car to anybody right now. Behind Measure, oh, he spun as well! Into the gravel, he might be beast here if he could get it going. Lucky for Lewis, he does keep it going, but doesn't seem to be able to keep it on the track quite so well. Down into P12 he goes to every major contender in this race. Oh my goodness me! Nino takes out 2 drivers there. Nino, what's happened there? Luke into the gravel as well. He just goes flying into him, so his own teammate. 4 retirements. Is this a restart? Surely it must be, because look at that. Oh, it's a restart. Oh, for God's sake. Okay. I have no idea why we're restarting and what the story is with that. That might explain everything. Let me join the new lobby. What's happened there? Hang on one sec. So, we're going to call this a red flag, is what we're going to do. Okay. Sorry if that's confusing. I have no idea why we're restarting, what the reason is, but we've got a new lobby and we're just going to have to wait for that. That is annoying though. I'm bored. We're here for longer now. It's a long day. I was wondering why Nino just absolutely hiked into the side of somebody, because that's... I was going to say it's out of character, but I have known Nino to T-bone a few people. Either way, nightmare. And that means everything we've just seen is absolutely irrelevant. I mean, crashes, we didn't really get a good chance to see. I have no idea what's going on. I'm trying to figure it out. I haven't even got much to talk about. We didn't get much green flag racing to be able to see what's going on. Somebody has said something in the chat though, let me look. See if that tells me anything. Corruption. For real, Kevin. For real. No doubt. Just because Jared did bad, I reckon. He was salty, he was sad, depressed. Also, no one's saying why restart. Somebody tell me why. I want another reason. I need something to talk about. Please. I'm lost and I'm confused. Give us an answer! Sorry, it's annoying. I also have to go spectate. I'm an idiot. God forbid. Because all I know is restarted, and I don't know why. Because I can't see any reason why. I mean, there are a few crashes, whatever, but... oh, whatever. I'm sorry for being boring. Anyway, did anybody see the Sidemen charity match? Carl Dragon is a dead goalkeeper, I can tell you that much. That's for sure. Lord, he couldn't join. Okay. Okay, it's because somebody couldn't get in the lobby, is why. How fun. Okay, so the first few laps of that race are completely irrelevant because Lordy couldn't join the lobby. Ah, now we're here for longer. So I say, oh Lordy, should just firm it, if I'm truly honest. That's a joke, love Lordy, but still, it's annoying. And I don't know who we're waiting for here. And why we're not going. Is it Lordy again? But this isn't here. Oh, for God's sake. I'm trying to swear on stream, but like, Lordy again is the one that's missing. I thought it was going to be long anyway with 27 whole laps around this track, but here we are. I haven't even got a co-commentator to talk to, so I'm just here on my own, chatting away to you, spewing irrelevant information. That means absolutely nothing to nobody. But from the looks of it, of course, Brandon Glover is quick. We knew that already. Cameron Young, hitting the wall, didn't really get to see what his race pace was like, still looking quick. Nino looked alright, got in a few incidents. That's all I can say, just because so many people crashed, and all the front runners crashed. I didn't there wasn't enough green flag racing to actually get what was going on. I mean, Kevin had a good start, Hammer got a good start, positions were made, racing was happening. It's just, I don't know. There's nothing really to comment. And about 80% of the overtakes anyway in this track are just going to be slipstream. Dive up the inside into a chicane. Hope you don't hit each other and run off into the gravel. Happy days. Is my because Lesmos aren't really an option to overtaking. Ascar is tricky to go side by side, so you're going to have to see position mostly. Parabolica will be the most interesting one if somebody does decide to go side by side. But again, it's tricky because you may as well just wait for the massive long straight that's about to come into turn 1, which is again a ridiculously tight chicane to try and go side by side in, especially for the second one. You have to try and leave so much room, it's almost a liability to try and make an overtake into there. So like, a second chicane also very tight with these big wide cars. So in theory there's not actually many overtaking opportunities, but there's so many hard braking zones where you can just launch up the inside of somebody to try and gain those extra few points. But it all depends on the risks that you're willing to make. So from the very start of the race and the very end of the race is where I imagine we're going to see most of the action. The middle section mostly just could be strategy and slipstream, but you know, I'm trying to look at the Discord, see if anybody's saying anything about what's going on. Because this is long. While I'm here, I'm going to see if I can find anybody's name and what they're called, because there's a couple of drivers that I just don't know. I might be able to see here. Matt Hatton is major. Anybody else that I can see? Doesn't look like it. Okay. No, I can't see what Blue Thunder's name is. I haven't a clue. So Matt Hatton, I just have to remember for major. So I do know that name. I'm just an idiot, basically. And anybody else I can't remember the name of, I don't seem to remember. It's just Blue Thunder. Yeah, never mind. It's whatever. I'm also getting bullied for my commentary right now, which isn't very kind. Ah, there we go, we're restarting. But yeah, anyway, I'm getting bullied for my commentary when I'm just trying to waffle my way through this restart because it's boring and long. Never mind. Anyway, in a few seconds we're finally going to be able to have fun again. That's all I have to say. No formation lap to actually, function for. So in a second, once we load in, going straight back into the racing and right back into the action, which hopefully will deliver. And if it's another restart, then I'll probably stop and cry. Honestly, IRL should start paying me, if I'm honest. I would enjoy money, but I haven't been seeing any paychecks as of right now. So, if somebody could tell Kevin or Jared or anybody to give me money, that'd be great. Even if I haven't turned up the last few weeks, but that's irrelevant. I was about to say, a man's got to have a life. I don't really have much of one, considering I'm still just sat here commentating. Never mind. We just went on Lewis Curtis, who's been slow to get us into this game, into this race. So if you could get a move on, that'd be fantastic, so I don't want to wait around in another lobby. because I'm bored, to put it frankly. But never mind. This is long though, Lewis. Come on. I've completely run out of things to say. Okay, Lewis left. I don't know what the story is. I'm going to check the Discord because we might just end up flying straight into the race. So I don't know if there's going to be a restart or not, but I think we're about to start. I'm going to commentate on it anyway and hope. But if there is another restart, I'll cry. Lewis is back. Got 30 seconds to start and we'll have to see what happens as my phone is blowing up. Ah, shush. Go away. 10 seconds. I'm not sure Lewis is going to be in this race. I'm hoping so, because I don't feel like going back into another lobby. 5 seconds on the clock and we can get going back racing. We've got Brandon on pole again. Cameron Young getting a second chance and not crashing. He got a good start last time. You can see the Lewis Ferrari is ghosted. So that's going to cause problems on the start. 5 red lights are on and they're gone and we are racing again. Brandon and Cameron seem to be pretty equal. Lewis gets a good start however with his ghosted car. He's already up on the inside. Cameron Young's had an awful start and here goes Lewis up into the lead. The Williams on the inside as well, going 3 wide is the first corner. Lewis in the lead. Nino in second. Still got side by side 3 wide. Still, I don't know how they're managing this. It's fantastic, but there you go. Lewis down into 4th again. Contact Brandon off into the gravel as well. Alfieri up into P6 already. Cameron down into P4. Nino taking advantage of going up into 1st position. Trappy Formula, I've forgotten his name, is up into P2. And Matt Hatton in P3. Cameron Young down in P4. Hamrick, Jared dropping positions as well. The Red Bull of Cameron Young though dropping 2 positions. Getting into contact, did Brandon Glover. Sending himself up into the gravel. Doing himself no favours as a Haas and Luke also spins. So poor old Brandon taking a massive L off the start, considering he was way up at the top last time. Very sad to see from him, but Cameron, he's going to be trying to go up the inside, coming into Ascari, up the inside of the Williams, is very close between these, so it's a bit of spin. Oh, and the crash! Alfieri just hits into the back of him as well. A reset to the track there, I'm pretty sure there's rules against that, as Carnage are getting off the restart. Nobody can keep the car on track, nobody can go side by side, that's what I'm saying, how it's so... There's just hardly any room. You don't give somebody a full car's length, a bit of wheel rubbing, and around you're going to go. Nino, Trappy as well, except he's going to try and launch up the inside, it looks like. Coming to 1st corner, doesn't do anything. Trappy up into P1. Kevin Harrison, though, with a fantastic start, going side by side with the other Williams, though. Trying to get himself up to P3, time penalties all around. Front of Blue Thunder now. So Kevin, a fantastic restart for him, taking full advantage of any incidents ahead of him, staying consistent, out of trouble, as he usually does. Nino, 7/10 away from Trappy. Looks like he's had a little bit of a mistake though, as Kevin is holding everybody up behind him. Still massive gaps everywhere I can see. Racing is a lot closer this time. We've had an entire lap under green flags, which is fantastic to see as well. Trying to look up and down the grid, see what fights are going on, but currently, Kevin, look at how much more straight line speed he has with no slipstream. Compared to Blue Thunder, there's plenty. Just pulling away. I'm telling you, this is why he sets up Massive so much, except Lordy is right behind Paco. And that move's being made. Matt Hatton and Matt Romano having a little bit of a fight, the 2 Matts. Brandon getting really close to Matt. Matt holding him up, and as he just lets him through, doesn't race as per usual. Oh, causing problems for Alfieri as well. Matt Romano going so slowly. Holding everybody up as the McLarens are fighting. And Sondre, sorry, he's going to try and go up the inside. 3 wide through Parabolica. Trying to go over the middle, sorry. And the Rebel, we're going to see 4 wide down the main straight. Surely not. McLaren's really putting a foot in between each other. Look at these 4 cars. Sondre trying to go up the inside. 3 wide coming into the 1st corner. It's going to be, who's that? Jared in front. Sondre diving up the inside. Makes contact, spins. Jared is looking to keep the car on the track there. The 2 McLarens, Thomas and Lordy, going through cleanly together. So the McLaren's having a little bit of wheel rubbing going on. Jared, he's going to have to try and hold around the outside coming through turn 3. Lordy taking as much as he can through here, but Jared looks like he's just quicker on the outside, more straight line speed. Can Lodi hold this round the outside? Surely not, it's not going to happen. Except he is going to try a switchback, actually. Oh, Lodi! Oh, Thomas losing the rear a little bit, but Lodi gets in front of Jared. Fantastic play from him. He knew what he wanted to do, and he set up perfectly for that overtake. Brilliant stuff from him. Jared dropping down again to P9. Thomas making a mistake, dropping himself behind Sondre. So these lot fighting hard already. Kevin, 3 seconds behind Nino, is another 3 seconds behind Trappy, ahead of him. So pretty crazy to see as Lewis right behind Blue Thunder, trying to go up the other side. His parabolic, there wasn't much room there. He'd already committed to the inside, but Blue Thunder moved across. He's moved across again. Lewis weaving down the straight as Blue Thunder just blocks off every attempt he tries to make on an overtake, but he's having none of it. He's just making himself so big across this track. I'm not sure if he's making big, just weaving as Lewis looks like he's got more straight line speed. He's going to have to try and go around the outside as Kevin is going slowly ahead of him. Is he going to have enough room? He's got the DRS open, leaves the inside as, hang on, that's Hamrick trying to make a move as well. Lots of banging and rubbing and just everything going on as Lewis comes out on top, only just as Blue Thunder was almost weaving down the straights, making himself a massive nuisance for Lewis. But again, Lewis a quick driver, we already know, as Hamrick tries to set up a move, doesn't quite happen. Kevin being the roadblock at the moment for that final podium position as Lodi is right behind Sondre, fighting all over the grid. Sondre again, a bad exit. Can Lodi do anything into the first Lesbo? Doesn't look like he's going to try it. It would be a bad idea to anyway. Continuing on, it's going to be into a sky where everything's going to matter. I didn't even come that DRS is enabled. I'm not sure what tyres everybody started on as well. Only one person starting on the softs. 2 people, sorry. Hang on. Who's that? That's Jared going around the outside of Lodi into a scar. He's going to be tricky, and he makes it work, though. Jared, lovely stuff from him. Sondre doesn't look like he's had a great line, so that means Jared is going to try and set up, overtake him into Parabolica. Doesn't actually look like it is. Paco and Hamrick, though, going side by side in that same corner I was just talking about. I can't see what's going on, so side by side is Paco, who comes out on top there in front of Hamrick. Jared on Sondre side by side as well. There's too many people fighting, I can't keep up. Jared and Sondre, awful camera, so I can't actually see. Just a drag race down this straight now. Neither of them got slipstream. Overtake is open from Jared, though. Sondre has more, but he doesn't seem to do anything about it. Again, 4 cars trying to fight into this first chicane. This is going to be Jared. Jared running a little bit deep, though. Sondre's trying to switch back as Brandon tries to make his way up the grid again. It's, oh, a crash! Sondre, and who is that? Another car. Was it Lodi? I'm not sure. It looks like it was only Sondre who really came out badly there. Blue Thunder and Paco still. Paco having a mistake as the yellow flag set to 1, 2, and 3. As it's a full safety car. Keep up. It's hard to figure out who's actually side by side or not. My good grief. And you know, it's good to give us a break, have us settle down, and bring the racing close together again. Kevin being a boss, keeping himself in that P3 right now, the final podium position, with Trappy, who I have to figure out the name of, which I could do quickly. Hang on, let me look at lineup. Where is this? One moment. Cannot see him. Okay. Wait, no, I can. Fergus Wilson. There you go, Fergus. My guy. Somebody was asking if there's going to be a restart for Lewis. Doesn't look like it. But, oh no, my thing's giving me a warning about how my Wi-Fi isn't good enough to stream. Whatever. I'm sorry, I'm missing so much. People are in the pits. I'm trying to sort myself out. This is long. Pretty much everybody on this grid has gone into the pits now, other than the top 6-ish. Or the top 4 maybe. I'm sorry. I got distracted. This is annoying me. Anyway, Kevin, Nino and Fergus definitely don't pit. They've decided to stick it out on their hards, but every medium runner seems to have pulled in for the hards themselves. So these first few, everybody who started on the hards is trying to stick those out for their regular strategy and come in at the end for the mediums and give a nice push. I think these lot could be in the driving seat for this race and could be the ones who come out on top, because the top 5 are quick drivers, and Fergus Wilson looks quick this race, unexpectedly so, as Brandon Glover had himself a massive mistake. He's back up in the mix though after his spins and contacting the chaos, we'll call it. So Brandon's still in for a shot at this race. Alfie only down in P13 though, so the Mercedes team not looking too well for themselves, and Cameron Young all the way down in P17 after he's had an absolute nightmare of a start, a nightmare of a race, is getting caught up in many incidents and many little bits of fighting. Never going to quite go well for him. It's very, very sad to see. Never mind, Jared sitting up in P8 after just pitting. Onto the hards he is, but it's decent from him. Where can he go from here? Only time we saw 20 laps to go. I believe the safety car will be coming in this lap if everybody can catch up, or the pit stoppers can catch up before the safety car line. And then that'd be brilliant, as there's another one in the pits, and that's Hamrick deciding that the hards aren't quite for him, and he's gone for a different option. He might be gone back onto his mediums, if that's correct. Yeah, it looks like he's gone back onto his 5-lap old mediums, which is interesting because they're not going to be in the best shape of their life. They're not going to be particularly fit and healthy, so it's going to be a task for him to try and come back compared to the still better worn hard tyres and the new fresh mediums. So the AlphaTauri team down in P17 and 18, Ross and Hamrick both having an absolute stinker right now. Not a good day for them, but again, will there be another safety car where they can capitalise? Are they predicting something that we don't know? It'd be interesting. I'm not sure. I mean, they're both well behind the train right now. I haven't got any notifications to say that the safety car's coming in. So I think we might do another lap on this safety car, as the two AlphaTauris still need to catch up, which is quite annoying and sad to see. So it's going to be Trappy who leads us out after this next lap to get us racing again. I mean, we didn't even get a retirement for this safety car, so it's kind of interesting as Paco was trying to overtake Blue Thunder back there, which is illegal. But no, there wasn't even a retirement to cause this safety car. It's just carnage, probably plenty of damage, and people pinging off into the gravel. I mean, Bottlehouse getting involved in incidents again. The McLaren team seem to be feisty and really getting in there, as Trappy's held himself in neutral through that corner. That's going to do him no favours. Or his engine. I mean, I've only ever seen one man somehow manage to get a gearbox failure in a league race. It's just purely from where. Jamie Morris, haven't seen him in time. But to actually get a mechanical failure in a league race is a difficult feat. It takes a true miracle and a true talent to manage that. But the top 6 on their much more worn tyres compared to everybody else's new, fresh tyres. Hamrick went back into the pits again to go on the hards. He might just be able to do that again. But he might just be able to catch up to the train before we get racing again. But it could be quite difficult for him, as he's getting his strategy all muddled up, all confused, and puts himself even further back than he was before. Safety car is in this lap, so once Trappy decides to hold everybody, it's going to be crucial that his getaway, his pull away, is good, because he's got a massive, massive long straight, the fastest one on the calendar for him to try and deal with. So as he warms up his tyres, this restart is going to be crucial for him, as Nino could try and fling himself up into the top of this pack to get himself maybe a little race win at his home track. I'm sure he'll be over the moon with that. He seems quick today, but Kevin as well sat behind them. When is Trappy going to go? Fergus Wilson, sorry, I remember his name. Still holding on. I imagine he's going to do it right on the exit. We'll just keep watching that throttle bar. There he goes. He has accelerated. Can Nino keep up with him? Kevin looks like he's going to be under a bit of pressure from Blue Thunder back there. Fergus weaving along the straight, not letting anyone in his DRS, but he seems like he's far enough away for that to not really be a problem. Everybody weaving down the straight. The Ferrari, he's going to be having to go at the inside, as it looks like it might be Jared trying to go up his inside, outside, plenty. Oh, I cannot keep up with everybody who's side by side right now. Paco losing out to Brendan. A bit of contact. Brendan only just keeping on the track. Lewis is going to try and go around the outside, round turn 3. He's up at P6. Paco losing out there. He's going to be on the inside of Brandon, though. Brandon on the defensive on the inside. Looks like he's still there, just in the middle. Paco's going to try and go around the outside, however. That's going to be tricky to do. I'm not sure if he's going to make it. There you go, a bit of contact, I told you. And there you go, he loses out on P7 and P8 because of that attempted move. It's just not easy enough to go side by side with a few people as Ross Denham overtakes 2 people at the back. Matt Romano dropping down to the back once more. Blue Thunder and Kevin, though. We're having a run into Ascari. Again, Kevin's straight line speed is just superior. Everybody's so close together, it's kind of hard to pick which fight is the one that we watched. But Fergus Wilson looks so fast, already a second away from any of the cars nearby as Luke spins on the exit of Ascari. Around he goes, hopefully not beaching himself in the gravel. No, looks like he's got himself going. Any fights down the grid, it's hard to see. Whatever slipstream happens coming into this first chicane, there you go. It looks like a Blue Thunder has no straight line speed at all as Brandon Glover just soars past coming into turn 1. Blue Thunder late on the brakes, but it looks like nothing happens. Matt Hatton gets past Jared Fosbury. Jared going slowly in the Alpine, diving over the curbs. That's Paco Suarez spinning. Around he goes after getting a time penalty, just clouting the curbs, getting an awful exit. Everybody's spinning, crashing, whatever. As there you go, Hamrick pinging off into the gravel as well. Lewis behind Lordy, getting a lot closer to him on the braking, maybe even cutting that corner, get himself a warning there, but oh, it's right on the back of him. 17 laps to go as we hit the 10 lap mark, but the front 3 all separated by quite a distance, so maybe the podium places fight isn't going to be very interesting depending on what happens as Matt Romano gets past Sondre. Oh good grief, Sondre having a nightmare as Matt Hatton and Jared are fighting. Matt Hatton's going to try and go round the outside into Ascari. Isn't going to happen. Alfioli looks like he's got a bit of exit on him as well. Any bit of fighting costs you so crucially on this track. The overtake is open, pulls over to the left, and there you go. Alfioli is in front before the corner even happens. Breaking around about the 50-meter board, maybe even later. DRS is now enabled, so that's going to change everything with the overtakes of slipstream. The front 3 again, all pretty much a second away from each other. A bit of team orders between Kevin and Brandon here, I imagine. So Kevin is going to drop behind Brandon, moving up into P3 to try and outdo himself in the Drivers' Championship. Kevin, now he's going to try and put on a defensive move. He's a very much a team player. Is Kevin. I was teammates with him, paired up with him in season 8, 9. We won the Constructors title together, and he won the Drivers title. So Kevin, a good driver and a great team player, as he's had multiple Constructors Championships as of yet, as Paco gets himself spinning around again in the first corner. Just cannot seem to keep the car on the track, but everybody seems to be pulling away, just gapping each other. Cameron Young 3.5 tenths away from Matt Hatton. He is quicker, so I imagine he's going to try and make this overtake. Coming into Ascari, we have got Blue Thunder and Lordy up the front there. I'm missing it as DRS is just keeping Blue Thunder ahead enough to not have to worry about any attacks. But here's Blue Thunder and Lordy. The slipstream doesn't seem to be doing much, as Blue Thunder's setup just clearly isn't built for straight line speed. He's alright in the corners, but where it matters on this track, on the straights, he just doesn't seem to be able to keep up. He just keeps losing himself positions through almost every corner as Thomas gets past Ross Denham, as Ross spins, going back up to the front of the grid. Lordy is just going to be ahead of Blue Thunder again, as here comes Cameron Young, so close to Matt Hatton. Matt going to try to hold around the outside into first corner again. It's too close, as Cameron dipping into the gravel. Cameron dipping into the gravel. Matt Hatton swinging onto the grass as he gets his turn in. All wrong for turn 3. Yellow flags in sectors 1 and 3 as it looks like the Haas is going slowly. Luke again dropping positions. Absolute chaos. Nobody's able to keep the car on the track. That's what I'm saying. Every time anybody goes side by side, it just doesn't work for one of the drivers, normally the one who's on the outside for turn 2, as Alfioli and Thomas MacGyver are not fighting because Alfioli spins The 0-0 wings are not doing anybody any favours on any exits. It's just impossible for anybody to keep it on the track clearly as Lewis flies through Ascari, unfortunately going out wide on the exit, getting himself a 3-second time penalty, which he's only one of 3 drivers to do. Are other people going to be doing that in this race? Probably, maybe. Only 15 laps to go, however, so I just have to wait and see. Not sure what the warning situation is. But coming down this big, long, main straight, doesn't look like he's going to be close enough to make any moves. The DRS has slipstream for Blue Thunder though, and Lordy just not going to do him anything. Cameron Young gets past Matt Hatton as well. Again, another move being made before the corner even reaches us. So nothing particularly exciting to comment on. Depending on the exit though, Matt Hatton could come back on him, but no, the ERS is pretty much completely gone for both drivers. It's pretty much dead for everybody as Hamrick gets overtaken. It actually fights with Matt Romano going side by side. No points are rewarded for these positions, but they fight anyway. Alfa Romeo, Matt Romano has to concede as Blue Thunder and Lordy still close together coming through the Lesmos. Somewhere almost impossible to go side by side with, so I don't expect any moves really to be made through there. Matt Hatton and Cameron Young though still very close to each other, so I won't be surprised if these two decide to go side by side soon. As Brandon gets past Nino as well, completely missed that. We're going to keep an eye on Blue Thunder and Lordy. No moves made again. What's going on at the back as Sandra gets a 5-second time speeding in the pits. Remember, pit stops still need to be made as Lewis is right behind Blue Thunder and Blue Thunder's right behind Lordy ahead of him. So these three are running a little bit of a train, having a little bit of a fight. We'll see what happens next as the yellow flag is sector 3. This looks like it might be the Ferrari going into the pits. Mr. Sandre dipping in perhaps. Anyway, coming down the long start-finish straight, you can see the Ferrari coming out of the pits. Not going to cause any issues as Blue Thunder tries to set up a move on Lordy, moves to the inside, doesn't try anything just yet. Yellow flag sector 1, 2 and 3. That looks like it's another full safety car again. For whatever reason, Ross Denham retiring from this session. I didn't see any pop-ups telling me that, but it looks like it's in the exit of Ascari. Ross Denham and Sondre both retiring. Sondre retiring in the pits, it seems, and Ross just crashing, as he couldn't seem to keep the car on the track this time. So again, Fergus Wilson still sitting at the front, and I imagine this will be the time where the hard runners decide to pit onto the mediums. I think that's going to be the case for pretty much everybody. Fergus Wilson though managed to get about a 4-second gap on everybody else behind him, so he is looking quick and he's looking proper this race. A surprise from him. I mean, he's not normally somebody we see at the front, but Monza seems to be his track. But Brandon having a great comeback drive here in P2, so he is not doing badly for himself at all, considering the first start to this race, the first attempt before the red flag. He had an absolute shocker, but now put into the pits, as you can see, both Fergus and Brandon and Nino, and probably Kevin too. Everybody's got to go into the pits, I'm sure. Other than Lewis, who decides to stay out on his hard tyres. Maybe he could try and stick those out to the end, but I feel like he's just going to get himself absolutely swamped. Same with Matt and Thomas MacGyver. I feel like they're just going to get absolutely bombarded by the medium runners, just purely from pace. As Jared decides to go into the softs, which is an interesting choice, considering where everybody else is on the mediums. Maybe he's gone for fast lap or something, but I'm not sure what his decision there is. But only 4 drivers, it seems, maybe 5 actually, are deciding to stay. Oh, Matt Romano going deep into the first corner, despite it being a safety car. So it looks like only 5 drivers are staying out on their hard tyres. Luke sitting way down the P12, so it doesn't really make a difference for him. But the top 4, we've got Lewis Curtis, Matt Hatton, Thomas MacGyver and Alfie Ollie, all sticking on their hards. Alfie is the only hope for Mercedes in the Constructors title again today. I keep saying it, but as of right now, only just behind the Aston Martin team in total in terms of hauler points. So he probably will get overtaken by Brandon because of the medium difference between the new mediums and the old hards. We'll have about 10 laps left of racing once we get going again. And I imagine plenty of fighting once more if everybody bunches up again. Lewis Curtis is going to be the one to lead us out, and Fergus Wilson is again still the leader of all the pit stop runners. So depending on how the fighting goes and who gets the advantage, the actual race winner of this race is all up in the air. As before, it looks like it could be in Fergus. If there's no safety car, it would be him, solid and steady to win this race, provided he stayed consistent because he looked quick. Brandon looks happy for a P2. Nino looks happy for a P3, but he's now down in P7. I don't think he has a server penalty this time around, but P7, actually no, he's still kind of a net P3 if all these drivers get... What happened there? So I thought Luke just sent himself into the wall. That was weird. As Luke flies past a few people. Not sure what happened there down the straight. Maybe he spun trying to warm up his tyres. I don't know, but anyway, the top two drivers here, Matt Hutton and Lewis, both have a penalty between them, so even if they do stay in front, if they can't make up 3 seconds or so by the end of this race, then down the grid they're going to fall. Depends on how close everybody can stay. Of course, we're going to have 3 laps without DRS, which is something so crucial and vital on this track. Everybody gets their ERS replenishment though, meaning that they're all back up to 100% and can really give it their all and really fight off the restart. So ERS management and saving will be just as important as any other race strategy, especially on this track, to try and keep themselves in the fight, just give them that little bit of edge to try and outdo somebody in a drag race on the straight, because again, that's all this track is about. Just being a faster car in a straight line. Normally if it's real life you talk about the engine power, but since these are equal cars, it's all about the driver's setup and ERS management. So safety car doesn't seem like it's coming in. No, it is coming in this lap. Sick. Okay, so it's going to be Lewis who's going to take us to the start. First time seeing the helicopter cam, which is great. As you can see, just bunching up the grid as per usual. If only we could get this helicopter cam when they're actually fighting, because it's the only one where I can actually see what's really going on. Let's pack on Luke, swapping positions at the back there. Luke dropping all the way to the back. Silly man. Now Lewis, we could expect him to go right on the end of Parabolica to give himself that nice, good exit that he's looking for. I thought he was about to straighten up there. Still not pushing. Can't see behind the trees, but still holding. Still holding. And still weaving in there. Oh, he had a little bit of a twitch on the rear though. Only just keeping his car straight. And here you can see Matt Hatton. He's going to be able to go right on the back of him and probably pull to the outside as Lewis stays on the inside to try and defend this move. Coming into the first corner, it's going to be Matt around the outside. Is there going to be enough space for him? Are these two going to be able to keep the car on the track still side by side behind them though? As Thomas gets in front and looks like it's Lewis still ahead of this race. Lewis stays ahead, Thomas up to P3, except Fergus Wilson isn't done just yet. On his mediums, as you can see, just so quick. Nino up to P5 as well. Brandon in P6. I can't see who's racing who, but Matt Hatton, he's going to try and go around the outside now, coming into the second chicane. There's not going to be enough room again as he cuts the corner and gets himself a penalty. Blue Thunder overtaking Kevin. Kevin just sitting behind here, coming into the Lesmos. Any moves being made, I cannot see it, but Brandon Glover getting past Thomas as Thomas makes a mistake, I think, as Blue Thunder gets past him as well. Kevin side by side with Lordy. Lordy staying in front of him now. I think I might have seen wing damage on one of the cars. Oh, Thomas goes round. The McLaren is off into the wall, but we have to keep an eye on everything going on right now as Fergus gets in front of Matt Hatton. The Ferrari's going to be in the way though to try and go around the other side. Fergus has to drop behind his... Sorry, stay behind the Williams. I thought about to say their teammates because the colour's similar, but no. Nino in P4. It's still the medium runners are still the quickest here. Lewis and Matt are in a massive disadvantage. Nino looks like he's going to try to go up the inside here into Parabolica. Doesn't quite happen. There wasn't been enough room anyway. But these two, the hard runners at the front, are under so much pressure right now. I don't think they're going to be able to keep it at all. As you can see, Fergus Wilson pulls over to the outside. He's going to be faster than a drag race. A bit of wheel rubbing. The Ferrari's in the way. He's on the grass, in fact. No way does he try and make this move. As Matt Hatton tries to go up the inside of Lewis. Lots of wheel banging going over the curbs. So much going on. Matt Hatton only just coming out on top of the Alpine. Looks like he steered into him, in fact, Fergus Wilson. Dropping down into P5, Brandon up into P4. Here comes Nino for the race lead. Can he do? He's going to try and go over the outside. As you can see, these two have got the perfect view. Lewis forcing him out, having to go over the curb. Brandon raises a hand as he drops position after going side by side. Having to make contact. Oh no, Nino! Nino into the wall. Aspect, Kevin only just grazing past that car. Nino dropping down the grid. He looks so good today. And another mistake, another bit of contact, I imagine, sending him to the back of the grid. As here you go, Fergus Wilson. Oh, Blue Thunder is wavy as he goes round the outside. Manhattan, why did he go so slowly? How's he done that? Hamrick getting 3-second time penalty as well. And now Fergus Wilson, he's going to try and get past Matt. Coming into Parabolic, he moves over to the inside. He's looking quick today and he's still going. Still pushing up the inside. Move made for him. Up into P2 who goes, but Blue Thunder looking weavy today. Some interesting defending. ERS is pretty much all but gone for Matt and his hards. No way does he keep up, but the two Aston Martin cars are together again. P5, P6. As you can see, here comes Cameron. He pulls over to the inside. Almost 3 wide, in fact. Trying to go for the podium position. Contact again. The racing. It's just so much banging. So much contact. It's just, hard to call it clean. But I guess that's just what happens during league racing. But there you go. Cameron pulls up to the inside and looks like he's got the move all but done into the corner. Matt tries to stick his nose in still. Gets himself overtaken by Brandon as well. Now it's Kevin's turn through the Lesmos, depending on his exit. Can he keep in contention? Except Hamrick and Jared going side by side. A bit of contact. This is somewhere you want to be side by side. Jared on his softs though, with an interesting strategy. Is he going to be able to keep this up to the end? I highly doubt it, if I'm honest. Kevin trying to make a move for P5. Doesn't look like he does it. He has way more ERS than Matt in front of him though. Brandon again, the 3-second time penalty though. That is not good at all. Might have cost himself a podium here. Maybe even a P5, because everybody is so close, especially with the DRS. It's almost impossible to stay outside of 3 seconds as Kevin looks like he's trying to make a move, but couldn't quite do it up the front. However, Fergus Wilson is in the lead of this race. I think I missed his move for the lead. Cameron Young still looking fast though. Look at him just gaining time on Blue Thunder. Up the inside, he's going to try and go. He does make the lunge. He's going to be there, but there's not enough room in that corner. You have to be quite literally side by side as much as you can be. And as long as your car is in front, you pretty much have the right to the corner. But as you can see during this race, so many incidents have come from racing through there. But like, what can you do? Blue Thunder again looking so slow in the straight, so I won't be surprised if Cameron Young gets past him in the next couple of laps. Fergus Wilson though having to try and rebuild his lead that he got before. As long as he get outside of that second, I think he's all but safe, as Cameron Young gets a 3-second time penalty. That puts him behind Brandon Glover at least, I believe. Kevin's gonna have to put up a big to try and secure Brandon that podium. Jared still behind Paco though. These two definitely shout each other in the parties. There you go, Blue Thunder gets a 3-second time penalty as well. Again, another disadvantage. So Kevin, in fact, if he could keep up, could be here for a P2. Depending on how he does for his penalties. Now, folks, oh no! Manhattan spinning off into the gravel. Has to make sure he doesn't beat himself. Resets to the track as well. Another illegal move. As there you go, Paco pulls into the pits. He must have wing damage or something. I'm not sure, but there you go. Cameron gets past Blue Thunder up the inside. He's going to try and hold it. Doesn't happen. Again, yellow flag is 6-3. Looks like that might be Matt Romano going slowly. Paco and Matt into the pits. The fighting at the front of this grid is pretty full on as Brandon tries to swing around the outside through turn 3, and it looks like he's done it perfectly. Brilliant move from Brandon. A tricky one too. It's hard to go quite so wide, quite so fast without making any mistakes. Bit of spinning. Maybe that's just me, but a nice move from Brandon to get himself up into P3. Kevin just has to pick up the pace and stay with these few cars ahead of him, and he can get himself onto the podium and quite comfortably, as Jared picks up a penalty as well. He's down in P12 unfortunately, so it's not looking good for him today and the Red Bull team, who's still behind on the constructors and won't gain much besides from this Mercedes team. Looking up and down the grid, seems everything's equaled out just a little bit, but Nino just pushing Lordy through Ascari. Nino still looking quick. Unfortunately he spun, but he's just trying to secure a couple more points. Lordy is most certainly defending the inside as Brandon sets a fast stop this race, and Nino just easily breezes past and goes into P8. Brandon sitting in P3, overtaken by Cameron Young. Can either of these two drivers keep up with Fergus Wilson? They're almost outside of the DRS range. 5 laps to go. There's a good amount between them. That was a voice crack. But I'm not sure if they're going to be able to quite get close enough, because Fergus is definitely quick. But Cameron Young is overall a quicker driver from what we know. Again, our Cameron hasn't had the best season. We know that. We commented on that. But still, there's still time to turn it around and try and drag himself up. Maybe even into his top 3. Depending on how everything goes. But as of right now with his penalties, I have to see how that is. In fact, I can check how many everybody has. I forgot that's a thing on this game. As Thomas picks up 1. So yeah. Cameron, Brandon and Blue Thunder all have 3 seconds each. So every fight they have between each other is a fight on track. I mean, Fergus, as long as he doesn't get any penalties, he's pretty much safe completely, as Kevin is also just dropping further and further behind and not being able to pick up anything extra off of penalties. Not long left to go in this race as well. Alfioli is catching up to Hamrick, however. Nino picking up a 3-second top penalty. Everybody's getting it now as Thomas gets past Luke into Parabolica. Away he goes. Alfioli going to dive up the inside of the AlphaTauri. Easy as you like. Hamrick has to concede the position. Doesn't really fight it. Doesn't go for any switchbacks. Just accepts his fate. And drops down to P7. And Alfioli just looks quicker. So still getting a decent haul of points for the Mercedes team. But unfortunately behind every single one of his rivals but Jared. Jared only 3 seconds away from points. But I'm not sure we'll be able to make it up despite his absolute, because of his ancient softs. But let's not forget, Lewis Curtis is on ancient hards, but what's he really going to be able to do is Brandon is getting very close to Cameron Young and gets in front before Ascari gets himself up into P2, which is great for him and great for Aston Martin, as he's only 8 tenths away from Fergus. But again, I don't think that's going to make much difference. Cameron Young dropping so far behind with Brandon with so much more ERS. I don't think Cameron is going to be able to do anything about this. Because look, he's almost a second behind already. He's just dropping further and further back as Brandon sets another fastest lap of this race and is setting up to try and make a move on Fergus, it looks like. It's the yellow flag somewhere at the back. It looks like the Alpine, maybe Paco, gone very slow. I'm not sure what's happened to him, but Brandon is absolutely flying in the final few laps of this race. Only 4 left to go. Maham gets a 3-second time penalty as well, which is not very interesting anymore because he's down in P14. But oh no! A safety car! No way! No way is that a safety car. What happened? Oh, Paco's retired! How did he retire? Oh no! It looks like his car might still be moving. No. Oh dearie me. A full safety car to give us one final push at the end of this race, which might mean Kevin Harrison, if he could stay out of incidents, could get himself up to P2, as well as Alfioli maybe get himself up to the podium. So the majority of the drivers on this grid have got penalties, besides 4 as I can see, which means Kevin Harrison has suddenly got into a prime position to take a massive haul of points. But again, Fergus Wilson has some defending to do. Can he keep everybody behind for the 3rd time? The 3rd safety car of this race. I think they also had 1 or 2 virtual safety cars. But we're only going to have about 2 laps of racing for the end. So it's going to be a proper sprint. And so as you can see, the people at the back of the grid pulling in for soft tyres, Luke and Matt Hatton. But again, it's not really going to be worth much for only 2 laps. You're not going to be able to fight through the entire grid, as in fact Nino and Hamrick both putting into the pits, dropping themselves a few positions and going out of points. I'm not sure how worth it is. Alfioli is on 19 lap old hards and everybody at the front on 10 lap mediums, so the tyres are worn, the grip's going to be gone. Are they still going to be able to keep this car on track? As you can see, it's very hard to keep it consistent and clean around here today, it seems. I mean, I think the safety car is going to come in this lap at least to give us 2 laps of racing, so that's how this game works. So I think a lot of the grid won't be able to catch up for the safety car restart, at least everybody who's pitted almost. But at least the top 5 are all together, and Alfioli will come onto the back of that train as well. So Kevin, he is in the prime position to take a good heap of points today. Brandon just has to stay in front of everybody else with penalties and try and get as much of a gap as he can from Lordi, Alfioli, whoever. I don't think it'd be too fussy if Kevin gets in front of him. But again, he's here for the Drivers' Championship, and this is his chance to really make a dent in Edward Hart's hopes, considering he is not here. So, the safety car is in this lap, and it's going to be Fergus Wilson to take us away again. Before he looked a bit shaky. Actually, no. It was somebody else who took us away. So it's only the second time pulling away. He had a good restart last time. Now it's up to Brandon Glover to try and keep up with him and try and secure himself as much of a gap. Kevin just has to keep up the pace and stay with them. Let's keep an eye on that throttle bar. See when he goes. As you can see, just playing with the throttle. Only going as far as about 50-60%. Just still waiting. There you go. He's full throttle on the overtake as well. Pulling away. Brandon seems to still be close, except Cameron Young. He is even closer. He pulls up to the inside. Brandon going defensive. Can only make a move. Kevin, he looks like he might be trying to mount something if he can, but he might just try and stay clean. Keep himself out of trouble. Alfioli trying to make a move. Trying to go around the outside of Bill. Wheel rubbing. Nothing really happening, but still keeping his nose in. No positions made. Hang on a second. Alfioli round. And one of the sponsor boards getting absolutely blown up as well. Kevin still in P5. Looking nice. Nilo retires from this race as well. Alfioli really on his ancient. Oh no! Brandon is round! Brandon, our championship leader, is round, and he is so far down the grid. He's going to be out of the points, surely, unless Luke doesn't look like he can catch up. Brandon down into P10. And oh no, Hamrick as well. And Jared. Everybody. So it's out just to Kevin for Aston Martin to try and get into P2. Brandon's massive opportunity to try and really make a dent in the championship fight is round and down the back of the grid, and is only going to make up about 4 points on Edward, which is almost nothing at all. Considering there's only about 12 points between them, this is his chance to try and get up into the lead of the championship. I'm sorry, I mislabeled him before. He's actually second, about 12 points behind Edward. As there you go, Cameron Young gets in front of Blue Thunder. Oh, has a bit of a twitch. Almost hits him. Blue Thunder also twitching around. And Kevin, he's going to be the one to go up into P3 on track. Blue Thunder can do nothing about that. He hasn't got the straight line speed onto his final lap of the race. Kevin, he's coming for Cameron Young, but he's got the P2 secured anyway. As Lordy gets in front of Blue Thunder as well. Blue Thunder still 6 stones in. Way too deep, surely. He's got the move on Lordy. Only just so, not very clean. Thomas behind, can't do anything about it as well. Kevin stays clean there, a second behind Cameron Young, but he's still going to get that P2 anyway. After penalties, Lewis behind Thomas, he's all over the back of him now. Fergus Wilson looks happy with the second gap. But Brandon Glover having an absolute nightmare. I'm not sure how he spun, I'm not sure what the story is. But it's very, very unfortunate for him. Blue Thunder right behind Kevin. Even if he makes a move, it makes no difference on track. Unless he spins him, of course. Or Kevin spins himself. Yellow flag in Sector 2. That looks like it's Thomas retiring. That's an extra position for Brandon. Salvaging it just a little bit. But again, his opportunity today has been squandered by one simple spin at the end of this race. And from what I can see, it's going to be Fergus Wilson into Parabolica. Unless Hamrick can do something on Luke at the back here. They're going to be going side by side. We already know that Fergus Wilson is going to take it to the line. These two, they're going to be running together to the line. It's going to be Hamrick on the outside. The Haas on the inside. Luke just seems to let him have that. Oh, that's boring. Oh, Luke, get your nose in, mate. Anyway, Trappy, Fergus Wilson comes home. P1 with Kevin in P2. Consistency from him. Getting himself his best result this season. Kevin maybe back on form. This is the Kevin Harrison we know and love. Cameron Young coming in P3. Good from him. Good recovery drive. Nice to see. A good haul of points for the Red Bull team as well to try and close in on Mercedes, who only take 1 point home today. We got Lordy come home P4. Great race from him. Blue Thunder, the driver I am unfamiliar with and don't even know his name, coming home P5. Very exciting race for him as well. Absolute carnage of race. I mean, it was almost impossible to keep up with everything I could have done with the co-commentator today, I'll be honest. Oh, stressful. so much happened, and so many incidents, so many crashing. I imagine the stewards report is going to be filled with incidents, so it may well not be the full running order. I don't think this will be how the race actually finishes. We're going to skip the podium as Fergus Wilson takes home his first race win of the season. A different winner this time. Very well done from him. Kevin coming home P2. I believe his first podium in the season as well. Cameron in P3. Solid from him, dragging himself up the gyro standings just a little bit more. Lordy in P4. Blue Thunder P5. We've got Brandon Glover in P6. Lucky enough from him. I mean, it could have been so much worse considering his spin. But he still doesn't get in front of Edward that he seems so likely to do today. Lewis Curtis coming home P7, unfortunately for him. At least staying consistent with no penalties. Luke in P8, Hamrick in P9. We've got Alfie and Ollie in P10, with Jared not getting any points today for Red Bull in P11. I may even be overtaken by somebody in the driver's standings, I'm not sure. Matt Haddon come P12, and we've got Matt Romano in P13. Thomas, our final retirement right at the end there with P14. Nino coming P15, Paco, Russ and Sandre all retiring as well. Of course, Nino and Thomas, it doesn't go down as retirements, it was past a certain point there. I can't remember the exact number, but anyway, that has been IRL Round 7, Season 13, here in Italy, Monza. Chaos, hectic, my brain is gone. So much happened in that race. I have to see on the replay and watch it back. What actually happens is, I know I missed a considerable amount today. I couldn't keep up with everything, and I apologise that it wasn't quite my finest hour, but anyway, congratulations to everybody today. I hope you enjoyed this race just as much as I have. I mean, it was entertaining for sure, hardly a lap without any action, so I thank you all again for watching. I'll hopefully be back next week, and hopefully won't miss as many races. Anyway, thank you all very much. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.